What's up, YouTube? This is Bystanderx79, guys. Today I'm coming to you from the Team NDL channel. Eli graciously accepted the invite for him to do a guest upload on my channel, and I graciously accepted his invite to do a guest upload on his channel. So it's a bit of a video swap thing going on. It's pretty damn awesome. The link to my channel will be in the description box below. Please go to my channel, check out Eli's Zombie World video. That deck is completely and totally off the hook. It's got me excited to actually build that version of the deck and really put it through its paces playing against the meta. So definitely hit my channel, watch this video. You can check out a lot of my other videos as well. I do deck profiles, set previews, reviews, set openings. I do ban list predictions, which is always very fun. And of course, I host giveaways every now and then as well. So I would love your support. If you would be able to check my channel out, please hit the subscribe button. Any and all support does help all of us who do this grow our channels and our networks. But with that being said, without further ado, I'm going to jump right into this. The deck profile I'm bringing to you guys today is my Invoked Magician Girl deck. I can tell you this right now, we are in the competitive off-season of Yu-Gi-Oh! I know it kind of seems weird that we're in the off-season this early, but it is what it is with what's going on in the world today. Please stay safe, everybody. But with that being said, this is actually a great time to actually dust off your rogue decks, give them a little bit of an update, and see how they stand against the meta. This particular deck, it's more of a fun build that I like to bring to locals and surprise other players at my locals with. A lot of players didn't know how to deal with the Invoke, but when it comes down to the Magician Girls, they really don't know what to expect with those cards, and it can really take wins away from their opponents once they start falling into the effects of our monsters. So without further ado, we're going to jump right into this deck. And we're going to start off with the monsters. 3 copies of Alistair the Invoker. Anybody who's played with Invoked or played against Invoked knows what this guy does. On summon, he searches out your Invocation Fusion spell to add to your hand. While in hand, he acts as a hand trap for your fusion monsters, power boosting them by 1,000 attack and defense. Very awesome card. You want to have him at 3 to really get the Invoked engine going. So definitely good card to have. And we're going to start off with the Magician Girls. We're going to do 2 copies of Berry Magician Girl. Berry Magician Girl is kind of like the Stratos of the Magician Girl archetype. When she's normal summoned, she searches a Magician Girl card from your deck to your hand, which is actually pretty awesome, considering the other effects that Magician Girls carry. Berry Magician Girl, whenever she's targeted for a card effect or an attack, she changes herself into defense position, and then you special summon a spellcaster monster from your deck to your field, which is actually pretty damn awesome. Being able to swap monsters in during your opponent's battle phase is actually pretty damn awesome. It's one of the strengths of this deck. Okay, we got 2 copies of Lemon Magician Girl. Lemon Magician Girl, while she's on the field, you can tribute off another Magician Girl monster. Search your deck for any spellcaster you wish, which is actually pretty awesome. You can actually access Alistair that way. And if she's targeted for attack, you can special summon any spellcaster monster from your hand, special summon it to the field, switch the attack to that monster, and cut the attacking monster's attack in half, which is actually pretty damn awesome. And that's where the real strength of the Magician Girls come from. Coming forward, we got 3 copies of Apple Magician Girl. Apple Magician Girl, again, she has the same attack as a lot of the other Magician Girl monsters, except she can only special summon a level 5 or lower spellcaster monster from your hand to the field, but still you get the attack decrease. All that goes along with it. So if you could chain several Magician Girls together, this is something that's definitely worth really to get a pretty nasty monster that's big and buff on your opponent's field down to size so you can take it out. If this card hits the graveyard, you can target up to 3 other cards except for itself with different names and return them to your hand. So you're getting your Magician Girls back from the graveyard into your hand, ready to continue your plays, which is so awesome. That's the reason why we won her at 3. We got 3 copies of Chocolate Magician Girl. Oh, she's pretty damn awesome as well. You discard any spellcaster from your hand to the graveyard, draw a card, extra cards to see, always a good thing. And lowering the graveyard isn't a bad thing, because when she's targeted for an attack, guess where you're special summoning your magicians from? The graveyard! So, yeah, she plays a very good effects, and she's definitely worth having in your deck. Alright, and the last Magician Girl we're going to run is 3 copies of Kiwi Magician Girl. She's kind of like the hand-trapped version of the Magician Girls. Her effect is a little bit like the United We Stand effect, where all your monsters gain 300, all your Magician Girl monsters gain 300 attack points for every other Magician Girl monster that's on the field or in the graveyard that has different names. So you can actually get some pretty beefy monsters on the field. You tie in that to the fact where if your opponent attacks some monsters and you're bringing out other Magician Girls, they're also going to get that power effect, as well as cutting your opponent's monster's attack in half. So yeah, you're going to be able to run through your opponent pretty damn hard with this card. Not only that, while she's on the field, she has a continuous effect where your opponent cannot target your Magician Girl cards, or actually any spellcaster card you control, with card effects, or even destroy them with card effects, and that level of protection is just so awesome. 1 copy of Spellbook Magician of Prophecy. Whenever this card is normal or a flip summon, you're switching your deck for a Spellbook card. So, getting more Spellbook cards into your hand allows you to draw more cards, see more cards, be able to do more things. So, awesome card to have in this deck. And last but not least, this deck does need a pretty awesome boss monster, and the boss monster I chose for this deck is the Dark Magician of Chaos. During the end phase of the turn, this card is summoned. You get to recycle a spell card from your graveyard back to your hand, which is great. It takes care of that whole mistiming with Magical Dimension. The reason why I love that errata so much. Not only that, whenever it destroys one of your opponent's monsters by battle, after damage calculation, the monster is banished instead of being sent to the graveyard, which is just so damn amazing and worth having in this deck. Alright, into the spell cards, we have 2 copies of the Mize of the Land. This deck does love the field spells it has in it. They can do a little heavy lifting, protecting fusion monsters, as well as preventing your opponent from doing other things as well. Whenever your opponent special summons and this card is face down, you can flip it up like a trap card, get a field spell from your deck and activate it right to your field, which is just huge. This allows you to do so many things, and that's why we run it at 2. Foolish Burial, because, hey, getting monsters into your graveyard can be easy, especially when you have things like Chocolate Magician Girl, which can just get the stuff onto your field even better. So, no Invoked deck is complete without Invocation. I run 2 copies. 2 is all you really need in any Invoked engine-based deck. Allows you to fusion summon out your Invoked monsters, whether they be on the field or using your opponent's monsters from their graveyard, which is just sick. And this allows you to access a lot of different things. So, definitely good. And it can also recycle itself back into the deck and Alistair back into your hand, which is even better. So, awesome card. 2 copies of Magical Dimension. Tribute off a spellcaster monster you control, and you're special summoning a spellcaster monster from your hand onto your field. And it also has that 1 card effect where you can target one of your opponent's monsters and destroy it. Just makes such an amazing card, being able to bring out a powerhouse monster like Dark Magician of Chaos and take out one of your opponent's monsters at the same time. Just so worth it. 3 copies of Magical Meltdown. Activate this card, you can search out your Alistair. Alistair can be normal summon, search out Invocation, so you get the whole idea with the engine. This card prevents your opponent from responding to the summons of your fusion monsters, which is even better. Such an amazing card. Glad it's at 3. You want to be seeing that card in your hand as well. It's a great starter card anyway. 1 copy of Monster Reborn. Brings back any monster from either player's graveyard, so it's always a great toolbox card to have in any deck. 3 copies of Spellbook of Knowledge. Tribute off 1 spellcaster monster you don't need. Draw 2 more cards. So you got a drawer engine, and of course to make sure you're seeing your spellbook cards, you have spellbook of secrets to search out your other spellbook cards that you need as well. One more field spell in this deck, 2 copies of the Secret Village of the Spellcasters. While this card is on the field and you control a face-up spellcaster, your opponent can't activate any spells, and that just can shut down a whole lot of decks. Just imagine dropping this card against something like dinosaurs. They need their spell cards to extend. Yeah. No spell cards means they're not extending, they're not getting their big boys out in the field. We're also running 2 copies of Super Polymerization because you want to be fusion summoning with this deck, and just being able to maximize on your ability to create the Invoked fusions, as well as a few other cards that I have in this deck. Definitely worth it. And then since it's a spell-based forward, it can really break your opponent's board. 1 copy of Terraforming again, 1 is just field spells. 2 copies of Magician's Defense. Magician's Defense is an awesome card. If your opponent attacks one of your magicians on the field, you can actually half the damage you will receive from that battle, which is great because this can actually kind of prevent you from being blown out with an OTA. And not only that, but when this card hits the graveyard, you can target 1 spellcaster monster in your graveyard, special summon it back to your field. So it's like a few extra monster reborns built into that trap card. And last but not least, we have, to round out the main deck, we have Metaverse. Again, activating field spells from your deck during your opponent's turn, always a good thing. For the extra deck, typical Invoked up, I'm running 1 copy of Kaliga. Kaliga basically locks your opponent down to 1 monster effect and 1 attack per turn. So always a good thing to have. Slow them down. We have Invoked Purgatorio. Purgatorio is pretty much your OTK factor for your fusions. You can just start mowing down all your opponent's monsters. It power boosts itself by how many monsters your opponent controls, which is actually pretty insane. So, very awesome. 2 copies of Invoked of Mechaba. Mechaba is your negate for this deck. Discard a card from your hand that matches the card you want to negate. Monsters for monsters, spells for spells, traps for traps. And you're able to negate them, which is actually pretty awesome. And last but not least, this is something that I've been seeing a lot more often in Invoked builds. Invoked Elysium. Elysium's pretty awesome. It has 3200 attack. Requires 1 Invoked monster plus a monster that was special summoned from the extra deck. So whether it be your opponent's or yours. It's a great super poly target. Counts as light, dark, wind, water, earth, fire attributes while on the field as well. So yeah, you can get a lot of different power-up effects there. But the really cool thing about this is you contribute off 1 other Invoked monster, and then you basically get a lightning vortex style effect where you can destroy all monsters with the same attribute as the monster you attributed for this card's effect. So definitely an awesome way to get rid of problematic cards. Alright, for some generic fusions, I am running Starving Venom Fusion Dragon. This can shut down your opponent's monster effects, steal their effects as well. So, very cool. And I'm also running the Predaplan Dracosphelia, primarily just to shut down monster effects as well. And since it requires a Dark Attribute monster and a monster, as well as a monster special summon from the extra deck, yeah, definitely easy to do with Super Poly around. Okay, for links, Alistair the Invoker. Just another way to search out your invocation by summoning a monster from the extra deck to the zone it points to. Very cool. I am running Predaplan Verte Anaconda in this deck, just being able to dump Super Poly in the graveyard to give it that effect. Just so amazing. And let's not forget that this card turns every monster on your opponent's side of the field into a Dark Attribute monster. So you have easy access to both of the Predaplan and the Starving Venom Dragon fusions as well. Pay 2,000 life points, you're able to send Super Poly to the graveyard and able to fuse from there. So very worth it in this deck. If I was going to pump up any elite monster to 2 copies, this would be it. 1 copy of Core Sheep. I mean, it's just great to have in any fusion-based deck. Allows you to get a level 4 or lower monster out of your graveyard, back onto the field, ready to go. So, great card. We got Daybreaker, the Shining Magical Warrior. When this card is link summoned, you put counters on it. For every spell counter it has, it gains 300 attack. You can remove spell counters from this card, pop your opponent's card, which is actually pretty awesome. And all it does is cost 2 spellcasters, and this deck is pretty easy to do. So, 1 copy of IP Masquerader, just a great toolbox card to have in any extra deck. Allows you to link summon during your opponent's turn, and then you can link off into things like Nightmare Phoenix to pop back row, or Nightmare Unicorn to spin cards back to the deck. That effect's very awesome against the Eldritch matchup. And then last but not least, you can, if you want to build up into a Link 4, Boros Dragon definitely is the card to go for. OTK machine in itself can't be destroyed by battle if you use IP. Can't be destroyed by card effects as well. Can half your opponent's monster's attack, add it to its own, and even attack twice, which just makes it such an amazing card and can help you win games. Guys, that is it for my Invoked Magician Girl deck profile. Guys, I really hope you enjoy it. Like I said before, check out the description box below. Find the link to my channel. Check out my videos, as well as Eli's video on my channel. Love to have your support, so make sure to subscribe to Team NDL, as well as Bystanderx79. And as always, guys, until next time, peace.